Well, first of all, I think it's probably going to shatter ratings records. I think our semifinals numbers on Friday are going to be through the roof ridiculous, which is awesome because it just means that more people are getting a chance to view and experience this amazing product. But for that particular game, you have the reigning player of the year going up against the new player of the year. You have the best player in the country this year going up against the best team in the country. You have a dynasty building at South Carolina. You also have the last run for a really special group in the history of women's college basketball. When you think about what this group of South Carolina women have done, they call it their freshman class, right? Well, that freshman class is now seniors, and getting to see whether or not they can finish it off with this undefeated season and a second straight championship. And you think about how close it could have been to 3 or 4 championships for this class. I think I'm really interested in the historical context of it all because, well, from a basketball standpoint, you have the dominance, the size, the athleticism, the strength, the depth of South Carolina going up against one of the greatest offenses we've seen in college basketball in Iowa with a maestro in Caitlin Clark that we're going to end up looking back on as an all-time great historical college basketball figure. So is the way she puppet masters enough to be able to break down and beat that defense? Could South Carolina come out and be like, hold on a second, we're gonna put a stomp to this? I think that's the interesting part of it. And if Iowa was to win, I think we end up looking back on it the same way we do with Diana Taurasi and her junior year, where like, oh well, of course they had Diana Taurasi, that was enough. They found a way. Caitlin Clark goes on to be an all-time great WNBA point guard, which I think she will be. We might end up looking back and saying like, well, of course she was able to get her team to the final. That was Caitlin Clark. But there's also an excellent chance South Carolina goes out there, wins by 20 plus, and we're like, this team is just one of the truly dominant teams we've ever seen. So I think that's the great part about sports is we don't know. Like, I genuinely, if you told me South Carolina is going to win by 25 on Friday night, I would not be surprised. If you told me Iowa was going to win the game, I would not be surprised. That's the fun part about sports, is just not knowing what's going to happen and being genuinely intrigued at a really high-level matchup.